Severe thunderstorms that moved through Menominee Committee last week caused extensive damage to some local communities. Our own first warning meteorologist, AJ Mastrangelo, has the story.
Here's a bird's eye view of damage caused by storms that ripped through Faithorn Township in Menominee County last Wednesday, leaving behind extensive damage to homes, vehicles, and a whole bunch of trees. While the storm had a history of producing tornadoes, the damage seen in the Faithorn area was determined to be from straight-line winds of 100 to 110 miles per hour. Meteorologist Matt Zika of the National Weather Service explains what goes into deciphering between the two.
To where we have to look at the damage on the ground, to get some aerial photography, do a much more in-depth radar analysis to come up with an actual determination if it was straight line winds or tornado. And in this case, everything led us to believe that it was straight line winds that produced the damage there in Menominee County.
I also asked Zika how often his team is sent out to survey damage.
I would say in a typical year, it's probably just a handful of times, probably less than 5. Some years it may only be once. Other years it might be 5 or 6 times.
Zika also had a message for the general public regarding how severe thunderstorm warnings are perceived.
So we want folks to heed those warnings as much as they would a tornado warning, knowing that the potential for damage is much greater in those scenarios. And in this case, the wind speeds for straight line winds were 110 miles per hour out of this particular storm. So you can see some pretty destructive damage and winds in even straight line wind severe thunderstorm cases.
As a national record, 218 tornadoes were reported this past March across the U.S., including that devastating tornado that struck Gaylord last month. Zika says the amount of tornadoes isn't unusual. However, he has noticed some changes.
There really isn't an uptick in trends of there being tornadoes, other than we have more people out taking pictures with their cell phones and documenting some damage that occurs. Where we do see a definite uptick in the trend, like we do see across the entire country, is the increase in the intense rainfall events that happen with thunderstorms in the summertime.
It's been a busy beginning of summer for the UP. Remember to know the forecast before you head outdoors, and remember to seek shelter immediately when storms are approaching your area. AJ Mastrangelo, WZMQ 19 News.